Hey everyone, this is your stimulus update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Wednesday, August 5th. First off, there's potentially good news for those of you that haven't received your first stimulus check or received an incorrect amount on your first stimulus check. I know many of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits still haven't received your first stimulus check, and there's millions of people that received an incorrect amount or didn't receive the full amount on their first stimulus check, and there's some news I have to share with you on that. I will share that later on in the video. For the second stimulus check and the next stimulus package, there is a lot to cover from the negotiations yesterday. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, the middlemen in the negotiations between the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives, talked about the concessions that are being made by the Republicans and the White House in order to make this deal happen. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin also talked about a timeline, but was quite vague and not very definitive, and that timeline could be good news and bad news, but we'll discuss that. It sounds like Mitch McConnell may make a concession on the unemployment benefits as well as some of the other provisions, and we will talk about this later on in the video as well. As I shared in the last video, the $600 per week unemployment benefit extension seems to be the major point of contention that is stopping the next stimulus bill from happening. Welcome back to my subscribers and those of you that are members of my community. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and so thank you for watching and thank you for coming back. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so I can keep you up to date on all the latest news from the stimulus check and the stimulus updates. And if you like this content, please be sure to share it on social media and hit the like button on this video. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said that she hopes that they can reach a deal this week. And Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that they are working out the actual details and the final written proposal for a deal, which could signify that they're getting closer to finally coming together on a deal. Before the meeting between Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer yesterday, President Trump threatened to use executive authority to renew the unemployment benefit extension and the eviction moratorium, as well as issue a payroll tax cut. However, after the meeting, Mark Meadows said that President Trump is no longer wanting to do that and is going to hold off in hopes that a deal will be made soon. Right now, it seems like the Republicans are making all of the concessions in order to get this deal done, despite the fact that they hold a majority in the Senate and hold the White House right now. There are three branches of government that are required to approve this next bill and to make this bill happen, and 2/3 of them are controlled by the Republicans. However, with that said, the House of Representatives, the only of those three that is controlled by the Democrats, has kind of been holding the Republicans' feet to the fire and saying, look, if you guys don't pass this, it's going to be on you. You guys hold the majority right now. And so the House has, even though they're in the minority, has been holding all of the power at this point. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have been using that to their advantage, and it seems to be working. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told reporters yesterday that the White House was making thus far more concessions than the Democrats have been making. Pelosi, Schumer, Meadows, and Mnuchin will also meet again today, and included in that is going to be Postmaster General Louis DeJoy to discuss funding for the United States Postal Service as part of the next stimulus package. I'm not exactly sure how the Postal Service is a critical piece of this next stimulus package, but apparently Pelosi and Schumer think that they should be, and so they've been invited to attend the meetings today. Bloomberg.com reports Steven Mnuchin and the White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said that Republicans would agree to a moratorium on evictions through the end of the year and make an offer on supplemental unemployment insurance, which has been one of the major sticking points in these negotiations. So what was said about a timeline for this deal to finally get done? We know that the Senate is set to go on recess after August 7th, the end of this week, but something that many people don't know is that the House of Representatives is already on recess. However, they have said that they will return in order to sign a deal or to vote on a deal if one gets passed by the Senate in the next week or so. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin talked about a timeline, well, maybe. After the meeting with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer yesterday, Mnuchin said, "We're not at a point of being close to a deal, but we did try to agree to set a timeline. We're going to try and reach an overall agreement, if we can get one, by the end of this week, so that legislation could then pass next week." Pelosi said regarding a deal this week, in an interview with PBS Tuesday evening, she said that she also hoped that a deal could be reached this week with legislation drafted and passed next week. "We have to have an agreement, and we will have an agreement." So the good news is both sides seem to be saying that we are going to get an agreement this week. However, the bad news is it sounds like they're not even going to vote on it and approve it until next week. So that's the good news and the bad news. In a shocking development, Mitch McConnell has said that he would support a $600 unemployment benefit or whatever else the negotiations between Stephen Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, and the Democrats come up with. When asked about the $600 per week unemployment benefit extension, Mitch McConnell said, "Whatever the White House and Democrats agree to is something I'm prepared to support, even if I have some problems with certain parts of it." This is massive news, as Mitch McConnell has been one of the biggest opponents of the $600 per week unemployment benefit extension, as well as many of the other sticking points that have been causing the delays in this negotiation process. So if Mitch McConnell is ready to be on board and to get most of the senators on board, hopefully, with a plan that is brokered between the White House and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, this is huge news and could mean that we are finally getting closer to a deal. They are still apart on quite a few issues, but it does sound like they're both committed to getting a deal at least written up and proposed and finalized this week. Last Friday, President Trump did come out in support of the $600 per week unemployment benefit extension, so maybe that is playing a part in Mitch McConnell kind of conceding to the fact that he's not going to win the battle on the unemployment benefit. So like I was saying, as far as timeline goes, if they can get a deal brokered and written up this week, it sounds like they will get something passed next week, hopefully. But then again, it doesn't always seem like it's next week. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be this week. It's going to be next week. It seems like we've been waiting for next week for months now. There is some good news possibly with regards to that timeline though. I've been giving the timeline of about the third week of August for the first round of direct deposit checks to go out for the second stimulus check. Stephen Mnuchin said that if they can pass a stimulus package by next week, the first payments could go out as early as the 21st of August. So that does keep in the timeline that I have been saving of the third week of August for the second stimulus checks to go out. I'm assuming that that would be for the 50 million people plus that received the first stimulus check by direct deposit, as many of the requirements for the second stimulus check of $1,200 are the same as the first stimulus check. So if you receive the first stimulus check, hopefully that means you could be getting a second stimulus check as early as the 21st of August, if everything goes as they're saying. As I said earlier in the video, there's potentially some huge news for those of you that are wondering about the first stimulus check, whether you actually received the first stimulus check, but it was an incorrect amount, or if you haven't received the first stimulus check at all. And that includes those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. I know there are still millions of people that are waiting for their first stimulus check. Direct deposits did go out again this morning, so if you haven't checked your account already this morning, please check again, because it is Wednesday and the IRS does send out direct deposits most Wednesdays. If it didn't come through today, there is some new news. Previously, the IRS has said that if you received an incorrect amount, that you were going to have to wait and file taxes in 2021 to receive the amount that was still owed to you for the first stimulus check. Fox Business reports that that may not be the case anymore. Some people that still haven't received their first stimulus check or received less than they should have may not have to wait until next year after all. Quote, the Taxpayer Advocate Service will help the IRS resolve stimulus check issues beginning on August 10th, and the IRS will start correcting payment amounts for eligible Americans within the coming weeks. The The article continues, some people, however, will still have to wait until they file their 2021 return in order to receive the correct amount. It also does sound like there's going to be more information coming out about those that didn't receive the first stimulus check or received an incorrect amount on the first stimulus check. And as I find out more information on this, I will let you know. But that is great news for those of you that received an incorrect amount and thought that you were going to have to wait until next year to get that resolved. Thank you once again for watching. I really do appreciate all of you that watch my videos. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you haven't already, be sure to like this video so that YouTube will share it with others. That really does help spread the word on these videos, and it does help spread the word to other people that may not see these videos otherwise. I do love reading all of your comments, even the mean ones. They make me laugh sometimes, but I do appreciate all of you that commented my videos. If you have questions, please leave them in my comment section. I can't respond to all of them and I can't answer all of your questions, but I will do my best to answer the questions that I can. Thank you once again so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.